are again. This is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. I had a whole different program planned, and this morning I got really busy. I had a mediation I needed to do. I had to work out in the yard. And so I just barely got on here. It's now about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And as I was working outside, a whole bunch of things happened in the news, and one of them was Roe v. Wade in the Supreme Court. Now, this is a very touchy situation, I know, with many Americans. It's a little bit touchy with me because I have lived life as an adoptive child. Now, as a baby, I could have been put to death. I could have been aborted. So to me, as I look at this, I look at it as totally different than probably the rest of you look at it. Now, with the decision that came in from the Supreme Court, it did not say that abortion was illegal. It gave that decision back to the states for them to decide what they want to do in their individual states. So that's how it was set up in the originality of the law. And then Roe v. Wade came in and they said, no, it's a federal mandate, so now it's a federal thing. And they took it away again from the states. In this decision, it gave it back to the states so that they can make the decision in their own state of whether or not they will have abortion or not have abortion. So that's up to the states now. And they can do whatever they want to. But for me as an individual who was adopted, I do not believe in abortion of any kind. Well, I take that back. I believe in abortion if it's going to harm the mother or harm the child. If there's something that is so catastrophic that is going to destroy either one of those lives, then it's time to do a medical procedure that helps the situation. And that's maybe abortion, or it may be something else. But to me, abortion, just to be aborting a baby, just because you got them pregnant, isn't a good reason to kill a child. So I look at this totally different than the rest of you, only because I could have been that aborted child. I would not be here now doing this podcast. And a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, well, that's a good thing. But it's not, because I would not be here and I would not be able to have my ability to tell you how I feel about this. Now, it's going to be up to the states. It should never have been a federal item. And listen, you can talk, the president can stand there today and say, we're going to fight this. And Maxine Waters and AOC is out there saying, we're going to fight this. We're black women strong and we're going to do all this stuff. I've heard it all before. But the situation is still, even if Congress decided to make that change, it would still be back in court. Because the situation is that it is a state's decision and not a federal decision. See, you see, there are a lot of things that should not be a federal thing. Education should not be a federal thing. It should be a state issue. There's a lot of different things. Driving ages is a state situation. The age of having a gun is a state situation. And that is their decisions. And hopefully you have responsible enough people who make the right laws in those states. But it is not a federal thing. It is not a federal issue. Now, we have spent billions of dollars on abortions in this nation. We have destroyed the existence of some very vitally beautiful children that could be here right now. I'll tell you this story again because I've told it before on my podcast. When I was born, I was given up for adoption. And what happened is that a young Marine down at Camp Pendleton in San Diego went to the chaplain of the base, which was my uncle, and said, listen, I got my girlfriend pregnant, and we have to give this baby up for adoption. We can't keep it. And so my uncle knew that he had a niece up in Yakima, Washington, that could not have a child of her own. And knew that she wanted to have a child so badly. So he got on the phone and said, listen, I've got a baby boy down here. And I know that you want to have a baby. Why don't you come down and adopt this child? My mom and my dad, they got into that car and they zoomed down to California. Now that's a long trip. That is a very long trip. But they did it. And when they saw me for the first time, I was in a drawer. They had put some blankets in there, and I was in a drawer, and that was my bed. That's where I started my life, in a drawer. That's probably why I hate drawers so much. That's probably why I have everything on my desk, because I hate to put anything away in the drawer. Maybe that's a psychological thing. I don't think so. Well, maybe I do. I don't know. So my mom and dad, they picked me up out of that drawer, and they drove back to Yakima, Washington. I was looking at the adoptive paper, and it was written on this really thin paper, and it was signed by the judge, and it was just typed. That's all it was. It was just typed. It was not on any type of form. It was just typed, and the judge signed it, and I was Michael Lodge. So you see, I look at this whole thing of abortion so totally different, because I could have been that child that you aborted, that you wanted to abort. I could have been that child that could not have grown up and lived a very good life and traveled the world and started a business and met wonderful people in my life. If I would have been aborted, that would have all been zero. Luckily, my birth parents decided that, you know what, this is a life. Let's give it a chance. Let's let it live. Let's let it have a good set of parents that want to take care of it. And that's what happened. To me, on my own personal life, okay, and you don't have to agree with me, and I don't care if you agree with me, because this is how I feel. And you don't have to feel the same way as I do. But to me, when you kill a child, that's murder. That's how I look at it. When you walk into that abortion clinic and you put your legs up in the stirrup and that child is crushed and killed and destroyed, that's murder. And I really believe that at some point in time later on, when you go up to meet your maker, if you believe in God and if you believe in a maker, you're going to have to answer that question. Why did you kill that child? Now, I want to say something to all of you politicians out there, and who are thumping on the steps of the Supreme Court, and you're yelling and you're shouting and you're riling people up to anger. If there's one person that dies from your anger today, then you will have to answer to that. And if you think this is helping your Democratic cause, and you think you're going to get votes from this, if they see any type of violence today, if the American people see any type of violence or any type of destruction, you have just destroyed your party. Because as it seems is when you see members of Congress out on the steps of the Supreme Court trying to incite violence and saying burn things down, shoot them dead, that is a disgusting mess we have if you are an elected politician pushing that hatred, that deep, deep set of hatred, that you are willing to kill a baby and now you're willing to kill people because you can't kill a baby. That is ridiculous, and you will have to answer to that to the American people. You see, hatred never wins a vote. Hatred and destruction destroys parties. Now, you may think that the Supreme Court came down with some very bad decisions, but listen, they're looking at the Constitution. They're not looking at your political opinion. They don't care about that, and nor do I. I don't care what your political opinion is. You have a constitution, and the rule of law stands. If you want to change the law, then go to Congress and change the law. But I'm telling you, if you do, you are going to create more violence in the nation. We have been through too much violence. And if you are advocating hatred, and if you are advocating violence, and if you are advocating the destruction of the Supreme Court, then you should not be in public office. You need to step down. Because if you can't unite a country, then you're not worth anything. And Mr. President, if you cannot unite a country, if you're going to stand there before the American people saying that you will fight this, you are not uniting anybody. You are dividing the country again and again and again. That is not leadership. So listen, all of you out there, this abortion thing is a really dirty mess on the American landscape. Countries are looking in at us and saying, what kind of a country is this now? You're willing to kill babies. You're willing to let people escape across your border and come in here by the millions. You're willing to tax people at the highest rates. What has happened to America where there is nothing, there is no justice? And we see politicians taking money, and we see politicians conniving and scheming and everything else. And listen, you, as a politician, are involved in this very dirty, dirty mess. And that's why the American people don't trust you any longer. If you're willing to stand out there today and try to incite violence and destruction and mayhem and burning down and attacking the Supreme Court members, you are a disgusting mess. That's not what America is about. Let the states, the Constitution says, okay, let it go back to the states. Let the states decide. No one has stopped abortion. There's still abortion that will be happening out there. And all of you who are out there saying, oh, this is going to attack the gays now, it's not going to do any of that nonsense. Stop telling a lie. Stop trying to make it worse than what it is. If you think you have a good idea for change, then take it to the Congress and talk to someone about that, and maybe there's a law that can be made. That's what democracy is all about. That's what the Constitution is all about. That's what freedom of speech is all about. And that's what the court was trying to do, is give the freedom back, the rights back to the states, the rights back to the people to decide. Not to the federal government, because the federal government never makes any good decisions. Sit back, relax, calm down. Because this is not the issue to destroy a nation with. This is Mike Lodge. If you want to have more access to me and read all my blogs and vlogs and podcasts, go to www.lodge.co.com. Join me today. Everybody go out and have a good weekend. Stay calm. Take a deep breath. Look up and say, God help me. Help me to remain cool. Don't listen to the bad voices. Listen to the voices that care about you, care about me, and I care about you, and hopefully you care about me, and let's work this together. But this is nothing to get angry about. This is nothing to destroy a nation. I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.